All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy?
I'm doing great. I had a great weekend. What a weekend. Listen, if you're only going to get 2 good days, the fact that they were thrown down for you on a Saturday and a Sunday is just a real treat. I had the great AIW show Friday night at the Odeon. That was a ton of fun, and a lot of clips are making their way around. You can watch it, as I said, independentwrestling.tv. So be sure to check that out. And then the weekend, got to play a little golf on Saturday.
Chase the ball
smack
around
the ball around, and that was a lot of fun. And then yesterday, I had a diaper party for my good friend Justin Costanzo, which was that wasn't around when I was in that side. He probably has like 5 years worth of diapers. Like, he's never gonna have to buy a diaper.
Who organized it?
His brother.
His brother.
But it's like a thing.
It?
Like, it's a thing.
Nah.
I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Bootsy's 5. There was no thing.
I think it's more recent than even the Bold. Gibbe's probably heard it. I guarantee Gibbe's been to a diaper party.
I have, and I refuse to go.
You have gone, or you refuse to go to any more, or you regret going to the one you went to?
To any.
Oh, you're just familiar.
I am familiar.
Yeah.
I was invited to one.
Sure.
Through one of my wife's friends.
It was a great time.
I politely declined.
There's a bunch of dudes hanging out at a bar.
Yeah.
And they just dropped diapers off at the beginning, and then that was it.
Yeah, I think I would have red lighted that.
Bachelor party.
I would have red lighted that. I would have said no. I don't believe I will be doing that. I could see my wife trying to talk me into it. This is what people do. You're supposed, and I would be, and then my response, nah, I'm good. Well, you're safe. You're safe. I'm glad you had fun. That's nice. That's very good. We had a you guys were familiar with did you guys watch the Righteous Gemstones?
I do
remember
not,
that show?
but I know
you're aware of it.
Of course.
Okay,
Goodman, Danny McBride.
Yeah. So my middle boy Kingsley, he had he's a bit of a lacrosse. He's a dude. I mean, he's a dude, really skilled, and he plays on a line of other kids that are really skilled who have older brothers, so they've had sticks in their hands young, and they're goal. Every time they're on, they just smoke. So we played Hoover, and then we played Chagrin. And
Sunday. How was that?
I'll get to that. There's a new king of Chagrin Falls. I'll tell you that. So I go up to Kingsley in the Hoover game, and I go with his boys. I'm like, you guys are. I go, beast line, man. That was beast. And he goes, Dad, we're the God Squad.
Yes.
Now, Gibby's laughing because Kelvin Gemstone's God Squad. You and your God men, Dad. I go. Did he either come up with it on their own? So if you haven't seen the most recent episode, just Google Righteous Gemstones God Squad, and then you'll get all of it. Or did somebody's parent, having seen it, leaked it to their kid, and they're running it as a kind of behind-the-scenes joke?
Join Kelvin's God Squad.
That is spectacular.
I mean, if the parent did it, I got to know the parent better.
You'd be friends.
Because it's a stunning accomplishment.
But I don't know what's
gifts
going
for us,
on.
I'm sure.
Maybe they're going to a diaper party.
I don't know. Looked like it. Oh, by the way, I also.
So which is it? Is it the parent of another kid, or the kids just came up with it on their own? If it's a parent, it's stunning accomplishment.
I feel like a kid has seen it through.
No way.
Through a sibling on HBO. Maybe
I
think it's been spoken in the house, and then it was picked up on God Squad. Yeah, it's pretty good.
God Squad sounds pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I think.
I would tend to think, how old?
8.
Yeah, they're not watching the Gemstones.
And they probably none of them have
on in the background.
No brothers. There's no brothers. That show airs at 10 o'clock. I mean, that's like Eastbound and Down. Like, there's no way that you're not. I mean, that's a 10.
Is there a parent not paying attention that's got HBO Max and it's on?
I don't think this group of kids would even know how to access it. I think that it's either complete happenstance or a parent having an inside joke.
I think
it came from the parents. And I think it's God Squad's been around, though. Like, I've heard that phrase well before the Righteous Gemstones, though.
All I could think of is Kelvin Gemstone's God Squad.
Unbelievable.
All I could think of.
By the way, I buried the lead on what was probably the most significant thing that happened this weekend at my homestead. So this week, all of a sudden, you're walking around the house, wafting of skunk.
Oh, God.
Could be a number of things.
Really only one. On that scent?
An actual skunk.
There's a list of one on the proprietor.
This is not a fraternity house.
Yep.
So it's starting to get like pretty bad, and then it's warm Saturday. You could smell it more. Yesterday we're smelling it, and I'm like, all right. Then I look and I see that there's a little bit of a hole in under our porch.
Yeah.
And then I look even closer and I see a tuft of clearly skunk fur. Like, okay, we've got to get the Judge Bill Pito. We've got a developing situation.
Yeah.
There was a video posted, I hope nobody saw it, on Instagram of me jumping up and down trying to scare this skunk. I'm jumping up and down.
Great documentarian.
Yes.
Miss K, a.k.a. Ken Burns.
Did you see this?
Falls. I did see this.
An outrageous performance by myself.
Yeah.
Jumping up and down, and then I turn the camera and say, that'll do it. So I was trying to rouse this skunk and let it know, get out of here, be gone.
Yeah.
So then I decided I'm just going to boulder up the holes so that it can't get in or out. And unfortunately, it's going to meet its end in there. But I call a skunk guy.
Okay. Flan, your plan was to boulder it up, and so then it wouldn't be able to get in or out?
Yeah.
And you were just going to have dead skunks and probably dead little skunks all under your bed? Under your porch, and that would only stink for the rest of your summer? This was your solution?
No, I also called the guy to come out. In the meantime, I was keeping him in there.
Oh, okay. I thought that was you were hoping that would be like the end game.
He was around trying to arouse it to get out.
Rouse it, not arouse it. But
who knows?
Minor
you don't know what skunks are into.
The English language is a tool.
Pepe Le Pew, baby.
Then the guy comes out. The guy comes out and he sees the tuft. He goes, you know what? I think the skunk's already dead. Without even seeing, then he goes down and he looks. He goes, yep, dead skunk.
What?
Yeah. So then he goes and he puts on a full-on hazmat suit.
He's Doc Brown from Back to the Future. With the plutonium.
Yeah, full-on hazmat. He's got like the old-school gas mask with the two things coming out the side, like the whole deal.
Sure.
So he goes in there. He gets it. He says that it has been dead basically since February, he believes. It died of rabies and was also gnawed on by something, which was a bit alarming. Maybe some raccoons. I don't know. Takes it out, so it's gone now. I figured out where it was getting in and out, and that's all. It's literally like you can't get through it.
Now we're good. He
says,
okay.
A very nice guy. Couldn't have been nicer. Very professional. He says, well, we your thing is good here, and we have this like kind of crisscross wood, kind of at the bottom to keep any critters out, and now we blocked up the holes. And he's like, well, yeah, you blocked up those holes, but, you can see there's like maybe a hole like yay big, the size of a golf ball.
Mm-hmm.
He then says,
I know where this is
and
going.
I have a hard time believing this. And maybe you're more of a Wilderman than I.
Yeah.
And you'll say, no, actually it is, in fact, true. He says full-grown adult raccoons can squeeze through something the size of a golf ball. And I said, wait a second. They've got a cranium.
There's a cranium that
There's a cranium that we've got to navigate.
I don't buy that. I know that rodents can do some of that business.
Sure.
But in the end, we do have a finite skull size.
That's what I'm saying. And even if you're supposing that you could basically squish your entire body around the size of your spine, right? There's a spine, and there is a body. Now, maybe raccoons are like those dogs that, look like they have fur, and then you wet them down and you realize they're really just like as thin as this pen. But I just don't think they're getting through a golf ball. Like softball, okay. Maybe, but we're dealing with the cranium here. Nonetheless.
I just want to get a size of
a golf ball, though. Their heads are pretty. They got a nice little head.
Yeah, you're talking about 5 inches.
Yeah.
4 and a quarter. No, I don't. No.
So,
although 2.75 to 2.875 inches in width at its widest points.
That's cranium?
That's still bigger than a golf ball.
Significantly so.
But, a smaller raccoon maybe, an adult, I mean, they can get into a lot of spots. I thought you were going another way. I thought we were worried about snakes.
No.
That's what I thought we were worried about, is some snakes get happening.
If a snake's under the deck, what do I care? Should I care about
No,
that?
I don't care either, as long as they stay there.
Don't bother me.
And actually, I'm fine with snakes because they take care of the other rodents.
Bingo. They're working for the team.
They're on your team.
They're on our team.
I like that.
Yeah.
My God. What killed the skunk? Did he have
He said rabies. You think it was rabid?
Rabid, sure.
Yeah. And there had been skunks around. Yeah. And now, but no more. But he said I was lucky because if it was alive, he said I may have gotten it right the last spot. So if anybody's smelling skunks around their property, you got to get them out of there because they're about to have their litters. Like
litters are happening.
This is time.
I had a whole skunk summer like 2 years ago where I was dealing with a skunk all summer, and I brought out an exterminator. This was in COVID, and he was like, "Look, I can fix this. It ain't gonna be the best thing to look at with the series of traps that you got to put together to get these guys." Because they only come out at night.
Yep.
Because they're blind, I think. Yeah.
They're nocturnal. Yeah, sure.
Not great.
No, so I'm glad it's gone.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. My question for you though, who was enjoying much more wonderful things this weekend, I'm guessing, did we get to open up the pool? Was Bootsy in there having a swim? 81 degrees.
Whoa, that's a look of disgust.
No, we're still worried about the outs. Oh my God.
He had a good life.
You play a little golf? Are those golf pictures?
No, lacrosse. By the way, as it turns out, we now own Chagrin Falls. We own them. Just stacked dubs.
I was going to go back to that.
Stacked dubs.
Let's go back to that.
Stacked dubs. 2 weekends in a row, we've made the trip north to Chagrin Falls.
Yeah.
Just dubs. Just one dub after another.
Did you go back for another yours truly breakfast?
We did. But the best thing that happened was this was Bootsy's first competitive lacrosse asking. So we had Saturday at Hoover and then Sunday at Chagrin, and we had an 8 a.m. push-off it was actually a little before that. I think 8 a.m. push-off for the game, and like his brother's all jacked up, ready to go because this is he's 2 years older, he's used to it. So I'm like Boots, let's go. We got to go. It was like 10 to 8.
Got a game.
We got to go. We got to be at Chagrin Falls by 8:30. We got to go. And he's at the top of the stairs in his socks and his underwear, and he's just flustered, and he just screams, "I haven't even eaten breakfast yet!" And he went out there and battled. God bless him. God bless him. We had a little yours truly in downtown. That was wonderful. They were dismayed by the idea of having to do a sit-down meal. They wanted to get home as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
No, the pool is not open.
No.
It's not open. No.
So did he have a little pregame snack? Or
Yeah, there was he tried to he did have a pregame snack. He wasn't happy about it. The one thing that salvaged, yours truly has a Mickey Mouse pancake.
They do.
That's the size of like bigger than him.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
And he did the whole thing.
Devoured it.
House the whole thing. I when it came and I started cutting it, I'm like, okay, he's gonna get through half of this.
No.
He's going to be the one that eats you out of house and home.
It could be. Well, he's gonna eat me out of the bad stuff. He complains every night about dinner, but will love the
In
junk.
high school, I was banned from multiple friends' houses because I ate too
How
much.
can anybody keep up with you though? When you came in the door,
Miss
if you were like one of the boys' friends and I see you coming,
That's what I was. I came
we're rolling
over,
out the pasta, kids. Put the protein away.
I came
peanut
over
butter
one
and jelly
night
for everybody.
and she made I think like steaks and then with a side of like spaghetti
Yeah.
marinara. And I ate my steak. I ate my pasta. I ate a leftover steak, and then I ate a lot of the leftover pasta. And James told his mom, so I'm never allowed to come over again.
That's it.
That was it. I was banned.
Can't have it. Cannot have it.
It was like supposed to be her lunch the next day or something like that. And it was in my belly.
Not anymore. You cooked it. It's on the plate. What do you want?
Yeah, hide it.
Lunch the next day. Are you kidding me?
Come on.
No, we don't
Not
live
here.
we don't live in that world.
No.
Did you guys find yourself in? Did you watch anything this weekend sports wise? I watched next to nothing. Truly, I was outside constantly. I don't think I watched a second of any. I watched a little bit, and this is going to land on about 0.5% of the humans. Last night when the boys went to bed, as we were waiting on the oldest, I watched about 20 minutes of Ohio State Michigan lacrosse. That's it. I did not watch a baseball game, a basketball game, nothing.
How many people does that draw?
There was like 5,000 people at the shoe, so it wasn't bad.
Wow.
That's a pretty crazy crowd.
Yeah, and they're building now Ohio State's got so much money, they're building sports specific stadiums for every sport. So they have one for volleyball, one for wrestling, and they're going to have one for lacrosse that'll go in next year.
I have been told by one Bobby Cart that the lacrosse NCAA Final Four is a party unlike any other. It rivals the NCAA Final Four.
I think if Bob's there, then it is.
Of course. Why not? It's a happening.
Like where else would if he's in the mix.
Run down that hill a few times.
I bet you have.
By the way,
I was at a costume party. He showed up like Mr. Clean. I died.
oh my God, it's incredible. Shout out to the Brownstronaut live. He's listening to the Browns Daily live from the beach. This guy's living. Look at him.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. Did you have how much percentage of you were like, my God, this was great, versus the percentage of you that were like, oh, this is how a lot of other people live all the time?
100 of both.
100 of both.
Great. Then why is this a treat for us? Why can't this be normal?
What do we have, 36 or something Wednesday? Is that real?
Yeah, it is real.
Yeah. I did not want the sun to go down last night.
So today's great, but this is going to end?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to – by the time we get off the air, it is my belief that it will be pouring rain.
By the way, this Brownstronaut.
Yeah, look at this guy living his best life.
Lady does not look pleased at all to be in the photo.
I don't agree
She's
with
going, are you really – you're going to tweet that to them?
Right now?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get rain beginning at around 2:22 according to our new app.
Bob to me downstairs was like, because I'm wearing shorts, I'm committed to it. He goes, you're not going to be – you're in them, of course. And he goes, you're going to have a wardrobe change for the time you leave? I said, no, Bob, it's a mindset. He goes, well, we'll see on Wednesday.
Shorts and a hoodie is always a great look.
I can do that.
You can do that on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's my Big Sur look. Quarter zip and shorts and a hoodie.
Some guy, very witty, one of our listeners, draft week, and I'm listening to an entire segment on skunks. This stinks.
Oh, does it? Oh,
well,
why? Do you want to talk about the?
You
want to talk about the seventh best defensive end, and we can go deep in that if you'd like.
I mean,
fourth best defensive tackle.
We've got the luminaries lined up for the week.
Yeah, luminaries are lined up.
To tease you.
Come on, guys! And big picture wise, we don't have a pick. The blue chip quarterbacks aren't blue chip quarterbacks, and when you pick at 44, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, the draft starts
It comes
Friday.
to you.
Yeah, we gotta just relax.
Just chill.
You've got Jake Trotter today.
You got Trotter today.
You got Brugler tomorrow. Daniel Jeremiah is going to join on Wednesday.
Jeremiah on first Friday.
A Glenn Cook sighting.
Glenn Cook.
Oh, perfect.
I think Wednesday's
Ryan Wilson from CBS Sports on Thursday.
Look at that. We're lined up. Lined up. Are we going to Vegas?
No.
Sad. Every opportunity that we have to thrive is squelched. Absolutely squelched.
It's a thief of joy.
Someone today asked me what time our show was. That works in this building.
You said it, boy.
That's how you don't end up going to Vegas.
Well, that's why we should create awareness.
Right. By the way, awareness.
We have a glass case of emotion here every day from 1 to 3 that people walk by.
And awareness. What about tonight, Gibbe? Big show.
Draft preview show presented by Bud Light.
Who's on that? Who's doing that?
Andrew Barry. We'll join Nathan Zegura and Ken Carmen. Brugler.
7 o'clock.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, already did a BPA today.
Just stacking some work in there. Jake, too. Was Jake and Norman?
I think so.
All right. Lots of fun. We will go around the league. Jake will join on what he's hearing heading into the draft. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Go around the league. Some interesting news and notes on that side of things as well. We're off and running here on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. Of all the X's and O's for your office, call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com as we go around the league here on Draft Week. By the way, take us out of it. Take the fact that we don't have a first-round pick out of it. And I'm already seeing this, whether it's from the NFL Network people or the people that work at NFL, especially NFL Network, ESPN NFL Network, trying to drum up storylines in this draft. And there ain't much. There really isn't. There's not much. Like, Rappaport's big thing this morning was there's a bunch of teams trying to move back. That's his big thing.
Yeah. Which is not, I mean,
Schefter had the same
they
thing.
say it all the
They're
time.
Basically just playing off each other.
They say
there
that
really
every year in the
isn't
draft.
anything like this. There's the people at the top are not known in the way that the last few years they've been known.
No.
And there's not a consensus. It's not like Miles. If you think about the guys who go number one, all the intrigue around quarterbacks, that isn't there. So whether we had a first-round pick or not is really irrelevant. This is a down draft year in general. It just is.
It feels that way. Right. There aren't any of those great headliners. There are definitely some good players, and teams have an opportunity to get better in this draft, but it doesn't have, like you said, the big headlines. I mean, you got Florio writing articles about how the draft should be disbanded and they should have rookie free agency.
Why does he want that?
I don't know.
Does he want that, or is he just trying to?
He's saying that it's why should these guys not get to choose where they are employed?
Well, this is why, though, you have parity in the NFL. It's why you have parity in the NBA now for the first time in a long time. Same thing with baseball. If his model would be the European soccer model,
but he's saying that with the salary cap, and that's the thing. Like, how does it work? He's trying to. He said, well, it'll eliminate tanking because there's no benefit to being bad. But then he said, well, we'll slot money so that the teams that finish the worst have more money to spend. So I said, well, then
the same thing.
So what are we doing? Yeah, right. So what are we doing?
What are you doing, man?
Yeah, I like the draft.
I love the draft. I love it. I've loved it my whole life. It was something I love. The NBA, NFL. As a kid, I loved them both. NBA's tougher now because I just don't know the kids like I used to when they would stay 3 and 4 years, and it felt like you'd get somebody that was of substance, no matter where you picked. You do now too. It's just that I don't know them because I'm not watching high school basketball, and some of the stuff that you're seeing from that standpoint. But the NFL draft is awesome. This was an appointment television thing for my whole life. Before I did this was who's ending up where. It was on Saturday back in the day. It was all done on Saturday, and you'd take it all in, and it was Boomer and Mel, and away you went. And teams,
people sitting at tables with helmets. Love it. I love
the whole thing. It's gorgeous. It's just this year we don't have a 1, and this isn't a great draft. I don't know that it's. I shouldn't say it's not a great draft. It's not an incredibly interesting draft because of the reasons I said. The quarterback's not at the top, and the no consensus defensive players. Like we've seen in the past.
And a quarter of the league doesn't have a first-round pick.
Yes.
And another quarter of the league has multiple first-round picks.
That's the other part of it.
So you're not even really engaging the entire league this year. And I think if I had it right, I think it's 7 teams that don't have a first-round pick and 8 that have multiple, or maybe it's 8 that don't have a first-round pick and 7 that have multiple. It's one of those two. But that's a huge, huge number. And you just kind of look at the end of the first round. It's, Green Bay, Kansas City. Like, there's so many teams that have all of these picks. Philadelphia, New Orleans, the Jets, the Giants. They all have multiple picks. And so this becomes a draft that is really important for a quarter of the league. The first round is not important to another quarter of the league. How many teams are going to try to push more and more picks even into next year's draft when there will be quarterbacks of consequence? And honestly, it's not the first time it happened to us. A couple of years ago, we get Odell. We don't have a first-round pick. We get Greedy Williams second round. Your first-round pick was Odell. For the next 3 years, your first-round pick was Deshaun Watson. You would give up your first-round pick right now for a quarterback of that quality at any point. I mean, I remember we talked about doing that for Andrew Luck. You take all the first-round. Who cares?
Take them all. Take 5 years' worth. What do you need?
Fine. Enjoy it.
This from Peter King, Football Morning in America. Amazon lobbying for a Black Friday game. Not sure if it happens in 2022, but in 2023, plan on it.
So, number one, there's like a very tight window in which they can run it. I think it would have to be like a 4:15, 4:30 kick on Black Friday.
Why?
Because they can't compete Friday against Friday nights or Saturdays until December. So I don't know if it's to protect high school football or what.
I know the one issue for this year is U.S.-England at 2 o'clock World Cup. And then they're trying to get it so it's not.
Oh, that's right, because this is the Qatari World Cup.
Lights. What's that?
Qatari World Cup, isn't it? Yeah, the World Cup in Qatar this year.
Yeah, that's why they're saying maybe not this year, but by next year there will be a game on Good Friday.
All right, I'm going to say this, and careful's not the right word. I don't know. Aware, cognizant, have some thought. I do think there is a thing as too much football. And my oldest asked me this question last night because he loves basketball the most, and football's down the list of the sports he loves. And he said, "Dad, why is football so important? Why does everybody love it so much more than anything else? Why don't more people like basketball like I do?" And I said, some of it is football is once a week. Your team's once a week, so you can spend the days after it looking back, and the days going in looking forward.
Yep.
So every game is huge in that there aren't that many, and that happens once a week. And I said that's part of it. And it also used to be that for the longest time there were games on Sunday and one game on Monday. And so every time the NFL played, it was like, wow, this is the NFL. Like, this is really, really important. And I said that starts to change with Sunday Night Football, and that watered down Monday night. And then you had Thursday, and I actually prefer Thursday to Monday and Sunday night, quite frankly, especially now that the matchups have been better. But it's another night of football, and now you're going to add Black Friday. You've added Saturday dates. Just be careful. We love our football.
Now
Keep it unique in what it is.
Header on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
but it's on a Sunday. Christmas is on a Sunday.
That is on a Sunday, yeah. But I just think it's almost – just be careful that you don't put too much out there, because part of what makes it special is we're all watching these one things.
I think, again, it's a one-time thing. So, again, it would have to kick off at 4:15 p.m. Eastern because it has to protect the high school playoff game attendances on Friday nights, college football games, till mid-December. So they can't have a night game on a Friday or Saturday before the second Saturday in December. The NFL's forbidden there. So that's where that game would have to be. I don't mind. Look, I think you get 3 on Thanksgiving. Then you get a Black Friday game. I'd be fine with it. Most people are off Black Friday. It's fine. I would, if I was redoing
I don't
the whole
like the
schedule,
3 on Thanksgiving.
If I was redoing the whole
Give me
schedule,
2.
what I would do is, like, if you're starting from scratch, I'd agree with you. I'd keep Thursday night. I'd keep the Sunday 1 and 4 windows, and then I'd have the final of the week be Monday Night Football.
Punt on Sunday night.
I'd punt on. I personally would, because by Sunday night I'm gassed.
No, I've always said, like, from the old one, it was like waiting all day for Sunday night. No, I'm good. I'm actually good. I've taken in a lot of football at this point. I need a break. And unless that game is a great one,
It's a hard second half after a long day of football.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot. So that you're right. It's one. I'll tell you what's interesting what you just said about how they stay away until mid-December on Saturday nights, Friday nights. They're just doing that out of the goodness of their heart.
Of course.
Because and that's part of that relationship that the NFL has with high school football and especially college football, because they have the perfect minor league system. Travon Walker now the betting favorite to go number. Is he really?
He is.
In Vegas, officially, where the draft is.
All right, so that's that. You want to know why there's fizzing on this draft? This is why. Defensive lineman from Georgia, a defensive end from Michigan. Like, this isn't going to – this is why the juice isn't there for it. It is. And the receivers, there are a bunch of good ones, but none of them's Megatron. None of them's Randy Moss. None of them's Julio. They're not that type of player. There's no quarterbacks. There's not a running back that anyone might not be a running back drafted the first round.
Yeah.
So there just isn't. That contributes to all of this.
Yeah. When you have a defensive player who's going to go 1, when it's a Miles, when it's it feels like somebody who's that dominant, like Clowney when he was coming out. That's people get excited about that. This is and Walker was really a 1-year player at Georgia, but has a lot of traits that people are very excited about. And I think that's fine. I think in a year where you don't have, a first-round pick like the Browns, this is a draft that is short. It's light. I've saw some GMs said that there's maybe 16 first-round grades in the entire draft. So it's good to I'd rather be in the second round than at the end of the first round, and that's why I don't think you will see a ton of move back. Now, if one of those 16 guys on your board falls, then maybe people will say, oh, maybe we do want to go get aggressive and get somebody that we had a first-round grade on that we thought would be long gone. But it's it's still a very important draft. I think another part of it is that the league has almost been on pause going into this draft, in the sense that there are a lot of veteran names and who will contribute to teams in 2022 that are still unsigned because people are waiting to see how this draft unfolds. And that's why I think it lacks a little bit of the electricity that you would be looking for if you were the director of this draft.
If you're the director of anything, you need to have an abundance of electricity. And when a room you enter, lights come on. That's the way it's got to go. You got to have that electric personality. You got to have it.
He had that. He commanded the deck.
It was an incredible. I mean, to go full Doc Brown was remarkable.
I mean,
appropriate, but I was floored when I saw the images from the documentarian.
It was rather stunning. It looked like something insane was happening.
Really was. The Titans apparently could be a team looking to snag a quarterback on Thursday in the draft. Interesting.
That is interesting. I don't believe the statement. Did you read the one above it? You didn't read that one, right?
Not a team in the top 19 will take a quarterback Thursday night. I don't buy that either.
I don't believe that.
I don't buy that. Nope.
It's just too important.
Yeah, you're going to take a swing.
Take a swing, of course.
Take a swing at it. And we were talking about Walker. Like that's the other thing with him. Are you like let's say you take a Ajabo on a red shirt. Okay,
yep.
So let's say we draft him at 44 and we take him on a red shirt. Are you sure that Walker is better than Ajabo?
No.
I don't know. It's not like, to me, and I could be wrong. I mean, Georgia was unbelievable this year. They won a national championship with like 5 first-round picks on defense.
Yeah.
With a former walk-on at quarterback who was really limited, who made a big-time throw when he had to make it. But really, that was their thing. By the way, Bama was without 2 receivers in that game. That changed things a little bit. Nevertheless, don't take anything away from them. So but that's part of it. I don't think Walker is a Bosa.
No.
And I don't think he's Chase Young. And I don't think he's Miles.
No.
Like, I don't think he's that type of prospect.
Maybe he becomes that. He's certainly not.
He's not that
now.
right now. No.
Right.
And I don't think Agent Hutchinson becomes that either. Any of those guys. Not that. Miles was a sure thing. It's a sure thing. You knew it. You knew what he was. You knew what he was going to be. I don't know that that's the case with the guys at the top of this draft, which is all the more reason why, if you don't have a quarterback, you talk yourselves into one of these guys, because what are you missing out on? You're not going to be missing out on Jalen Ramsey if you don't take the defensive player. Very likely.
Right. And sometimes this could be a draft and this happens. I mean, you go back to the 2013 draft and didn't have anybody really of consequence, and the 2014 draft was loaded. People don't think that this is necessarily a great draft at the top, but they do think it's a very good draft throughout the body of it. And for the Browns, that's good, because that's where they're going to be involved in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds of this draft. I think what I'm curious about is where these receivers go, because I enjoy receiver play. I enjoy passing attacks in the National Football League, fantasy-wise. Those guys have an opportunity to come in and I think be big-time players. I think that this trend of paying receivers exorbitant amounts of money, with receivers coming in every year due to the 7-on-7s and just the enhanced ability in passing game concepts, route running concepts, all of that we're seeing the proliferation of that, and the fact that rookies come in and are studs right away. I mean, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, the last 2 years are put together 2 of the best rookie receiver seasons ever.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's a trend that's going to keep continuing.
For sure.
So that part's going to be fascinating to me. And then what do the Steelers do at quarterback? That's going to be interesting. And then is there a team that makes the Ravens an offer for Lamar Jackson that they can't refuse? Because it feels like the Murray thing's dead. I don't know. It just
Did
so
we
much
talk
drama,
about him
but
tweeting that?
We have not, because I believe it happened
after we were done. It happened where he tweeted, "I'm like the
here to win a
Peters
Super
thing.
Bowl. Right.
Arizona's my home. I'm here to win a Super Bowl."
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I just think he's a little flaky.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I don't know what to believe with him, because he could have put a stop to so much of this. If guys who chase that, it feels like just for the sake of chasing it, like attention, that type of stuff, always red flag me. I just think you could have stopped this 2 months ago at any point. I'm going nowhere. We're gonna get this sorted out. I'm gonna be a Cardinals quarterback. This is my home. You could have done that too. Why now? That break broke you? Was Patrick Peterson saying that?
Yeah, so odd.
That was strange.
I thought that was very strange.
And to choose like Peterson, who's a Cardinals legend, to be the one to so publicly disagree with, after so many have been saying that this isn't quite, something's not right there, but all of a sudden you're going at Peterson for it? That was weird?
I think everything about it is weird. I think the whole scenario is odd, and I don't know what to make of it. Would it still stun me if he got traded? I mean, I would be surprised, but I would not be floored. I think if any big name is going to be moved in this weekend, it's going to be Kyler or Lamar. I just don't know that either. I think it's probably highly unlikely that either will be. Yeah. But if there is somebody that's going to try to make a splash, and Philly seems to be the team that I always go back to because they've got a lot of assets and they've got a very aggressive mindset as it relates to the quarterback position under Howie Roseman, that maybe they would be the ones that at least see what they can do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They would theoretically be able to trade 2 years worth of ones, which is 4 ones.
Because they have 2.
Because they have 2 this year and now 2 next year.
Right. Yep.
So they could trade their 2 this year and 2 next year for. So now you're talking 4 ones for a quarterback. Theoretically, that would be the way to do it. Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
3 prospects, according to McShay, who've heard fall out of the first round: Kobe Dean, the linebacker out of Georgia; Karlaftis, the defensive end out of Purdue; and Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa. McShay says Dean is the most likely of the trio to still be in the first round. Linderbaum, like, if you're the Bengals, and I know they've already fixed their offensive line, but, like, if that kid's there at the end of the first round, you take him. And just don't think twice about it. And now middle of your line is solved for a long, long time.
Didn't they recently?
They did.
They signed Billy Price?
Yeah. Well, they
did. But
did
they draft him in the first round?
They took Billy Price in the first round 3 or 4 years ago, the kid out of Ohio State.
Right.
But Linderbaum's
the kid who tore his pec?
Yeah.
He did, right?
At the combine.
Right at the combine, I think. Yeah.
We watched it.
Doing it on the bench?
I wasn't there, but you guys were there, and he tore it while you were there.
He was the first guy up.
And he tore it, huh? Shredded it? I do remember that. He won about every award you can win on the offensive line at Ohio State and just never materialized down there.
Yeah.
But some good players. To your point, to the point, like, you're going to get a really good player at 44.
By the way,
really will.
In the Peter King one, he had them taking Trey McBride, who was the tight end from Colorado State, who's supposedly a pretty good pass catcher.
Well, they lost what's-his-face to the Jets.
They signed Hayden Hurst, who's a former early pick of the Ravens. McBride, 90 catches last year. You give him a tight end who can really catch the ball with Chase and with Higgins and Boyd and Mix. I mean, sheesh. That's a pretty good offense.
So one of the PFF guys were comparing Burrow in his second year to Wentz, and saying that Wentz had all this success, then fell off a cliff. We'll see if Burrow can. I thought, really?
Totally different.
Feel like
Wentz was great that year, though.
Before
he tore his ACL.
He probably would have won MVP
against the Rams.
Yeah.
On that dive into the end zone, and then Foles goes on to win the Super Bowl, and he's never been the same. But there's very little about his game and Burrow's game that, to me, that reminds me of each other.
Very few similarities. I would tend to agree with you on that front. We'll go around the sports world coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. My good friends, the Bath Authority, can give you that bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. They could absolutely transform your current bathroom into a spa-like experience. They do it for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors as well. They're our area's leading bath and shower remodeler. They are premier, expert factory-trained installers. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. You can change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding, again, in about a day. Tub to shower conversions, superior products with expert installers. Give them a call now. $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com for more. It's where affordability meets quality.
By the way,
yeah,
give it.
I have if Zegura's looking for a little extra income, a little summer employment.
Oh,
Be a Fan tweeted at us earlier today.
Okay.
A link from CNN Business.
Okay.
I feel like we can get you off the schedule for a few weeks. Feeling hungry for a new job? Favor, a Texas-based food delivery company looking for a voracious eater to sample tacos all over the state as their first ever chief taco officer. The lucky employee will receive $10,000 in exchange for taste testing tacos and documenting the experience on social media in June and July. Perfect. It's our downtime.
I mean, you would seriously have to consider this. Like, if you didn't have children,
the chief
know your appetite for
you
tacos.
Can do the show.
Oh my God,
Texas, take it on the road.
I've got the Comrex.
You've got a documentarian in this case, ready to go.
Yeah.
The chief taco officer will drive across Texas, staying in each city for 2 days and eating tacos delivered by Favor for at least 2 meals, so you can have tacos for breakfast and tacos for dinner.
Easy.
Sounds great.
Winning candidate will receive free food, accommodation, transportation, $10,000, and free delivery from this company for a year.
I mean,
I was skeptical when this started.
Yeah, now
when Kibbe first started, I was skeptical.
I think
like,
the
why
Hoff
do we
would be tremendous as well.
I didn't mean to, like, hijack it, but
no.
I felt like this was a good segment to bring this up.
I was initially like, "Are we sure? Like, I really enjoy you. I don't want you to leave."
Yeah.
I
could still do the show from the road, though.
Yeah, but that really does seem like the perfect gig. My guess is they know how to do tacos in Texas.
I bet they do.
Yeah,
I would love it.
A lot of great
to sample the wares.
The only thing that could be, it would be hot.
The quest for the ultimate al pastor. I mean, it would really be something.
You've already got it figured out. We could.
Where would you find it in Texas? What would be the leader in the clubhouse for the best? Where do you think you're going to find the best tacos in Texas?
I think it's going to be in some small town near the border.
I feel like San Antonio's got it cornered.
San Antonio's great. I had some great food in San Antonio.
I've never been to San Antonio.
I took the kids to San Antonio's awesome. I took the kids to the Royal Rumble there. It was at the Alamo Dome. And they have kind of like this downtown river area that you walk down into.
Okay.
There's a bunch of great restaurants, and I loved San Antonio. Great review. Also took in the Alamo. Duh.
Everyone says not as big as you think.
No.
Kind of glossed over that in the end of Davy Crockett.
Yeah, they show him swinging. He's
battling,
but he's alive.
Yeah,
but not that you don't. Which is fine. I didn't need to see
as a little kid. I didn't need to see.
Yeah, Fess Parker's end. It would have been very sad.
Would have been. Yeah, it would have been.
Great actor, now a winemaker, Fess Parker.
Still alive?
If he's still with us.
There
he's
can't
not a winery.
possibly.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think we got it.
He was pretty much an adult.
I would say he's probably like 45 in the 60s.
Yeah.
Really?
Let's see.
Really went past it. I feel like he's definitely not. Yeah.
When did we lose old Fess?
Because he was an advanced Davy anyway.
We lost 2010. He made to 2010 from 1924 to 2010. Not bad. 86.
Okay.
Yeah. He was 6'5", Fess.
Wow. Would not have had that.
He's got a winery and inn, Fess Parker Winery and Inn, one of the only family-owned and operated in Los Olivos. And you can come check him out.
Where's Los Olivos in the state of California? Is it northern?
I'm guessing it's southern.
Santa Barbara?
Yeah, in that area, or like Paso down in that neck of the way.
That's where that pea soup was from, wasn't it? Somewhere down there?
Oh, baby. Yeah, Anderson's.
It's on the
way. It's on the way between. It's in the Santa Ynez Valley of Santa Barbara County.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ever do the Hearst Mansion as a kid?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Pretty wild, right?
It is
wrapping
very
your head
wild.
around that place.
Yeah, and then there was the one that was like the mystery house, and then the one that with all the weird stuff that was going on.
Yeah, I think it was a lot
area.
going on there.
Yeah.
But as you could tell, it's not like anyone was going to stop him. Wasn't exactly easy to get to.
No, there was to be no stopping. No.
None. Yeah.
He had quite a bit of wealth back then.
A little bit of accumulated wealth. If you were going to build a home anywhere for a pure vista standpoint, that would be a tough one to beat. Where they're at.
Yeah.
That up high, full views of the Pacific Ocean, and then the valleys
below,
and hills and mountains to the east.
That's pretty. Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Had a zoo.
He had it all.
Gold-plated pool.
I mean,
if you're, it's the only way you'd ever go there. I think is if you were dry. The only reason we were there is the blonde and I drove from Santa Barbara to Big Sur.
Okay.
So we stayed in Santa Barbara a couple nights, and we went up to Big Sur and stayed for a couple nights, Carmel, that area, and we drove the PCH. But other than that, you wouldn't because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. San Simeon's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, central. Yes. I mean, the pool that kind of looked like you were in like Rome or Greece.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
everything
huge.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Gibby wants to know if I watched any of the USFL. No, not a second.
Not 1 second.
How's it doing?
Don't know.
I haven't seen any ratings. I haven't seen numbers. I've seen nothing.
I think that tells you maybe the people are trying to hide those numbers. I mean, they're trying to play the whole league out of Birmingham, even for teams that aren't from Birmingham. That's not great.
Well, my next question becomes, is the XFL really going to do any better a year from now?
Yeah, it will, because I think it'll be a little bit more organized, and it seems like the XFL has some help from the NFL. There's at least a kind of a wink partnership.
Yeah,
if
and
not
it's got
official,
The Rock.
and it's got The Rock, so he'll pub it and get people jacked up about it. NBA playoffs. I will say this: you will not see you're not going to see a better tackle in any NFL draft hype video than the one the security guard makes at the Minnesota game.
Okay, so I have 2% knowledge of the situation. Somebody was there to protest chickens.
I have no idea the backstory.
I don't know the woman glued herself to the floor a few weeks ago?
Yeah, someone's got problems with Glenn Taylor. I don't know what they are. The owner of the Timberwolves. I don't know what they are. He's also brought on Alex Rodriguez. I feel like I have a much bigger problem with Alex Rodriguez than I would with Taylor, but who knows? I don't know. Here's what I know. You've seen the video. You've seen the images, right? You've seen the security guard?
Yeah, it was a great tackle because she's going to try to get out there in like a referee's outfit.
The amount of scouting, advanced scouting that he did.
There's no doubt.
To have your eye on a woman rushing the court.
He was waiting.
He was ready.
He was waiting. He was lying in wait.
Yes. She got two. I think he had her down on the ground, tackled within 2 feet of the sideline.
And then multiple people were there, and the dragging off the court was spectacular. It was a very quick.
Wrapped up in 12 seconds.
And there was a second person involved that was there to document it or to, I guess, maybe even protest in their own right. And it was, they just shut that bad boy down right away.
No, it's done. It was absolutely done. So that series, I have caught a couple of those. That's fun. Those two teams are both young. They're really chesty. They've got some superstars. Like Edwards is kind of heading into that. Ja is that. D'Angelo Russell, the former Buckeye, has been really, really good. That's a fun series. What did you make of Ben Simmons not playing again?
Why didn't he? He felt tight. Is he scared? Is he just a total head case?
I think he's a head
to
case.
Play basketball?
I think he's a head case because he had the Saunters got a little more pep because luminaries are in the building.
Yeah, moving.
With Simmons. So the Nets, and they were all on the same page that he was playing.
Yes.
Then he goes through a walkthrough, comes out the next day, says his back hurt, now he's done. Now he's not playing. Not great.
No, and they said that everybody's saying they're exasperated with him pulling out of a do-or-die game. What's the difference? What are you doing? How does he not want to –
I don't know.
There might not be another game. People are he's getting crushed.
Yeah, and Durant's getting crushed too.
Listen, the bottom line is when you are the quote-unquote best player in the league or second best player in the league, you've got to be able to win the first-round series. I don't care who you're playing.
You can't get swept.
Can't get swept.
Although I will say.
But LeBron's not even in the playoffs.
He's not even in, and Kobe was swept. Dallas swept Kobe and the Lakers.
With who?
Well, I want to say it was the Dwight year.
Okay.
The Dwight, when they had like him, and that was a disaster. Yeah. Dwight and Steve Nash. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, brutal. Buying or selling a home with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services is always a winning strategy. If you plan to make a move this season, they're going to have you covered at Howard Hanna. Every day is game day. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Jake Trotter up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. With that, we head on the hotline for a visit with our great friend Jake Trotter, ESPN, covering your Cleveland Browns. Hey, pal, were you in Norman this weekend?
I was not. I was in Oklahoma City for a few days last week.
Okay.
But we came back before the Heisman statue ceremony, and we had a college football reporter who was down there, and I wasn't trying to step on his toes or anything. So I came back before all of that happened, but it seemed like they had a massive crowd, and it seemed like Baker really enjoyed himself, and I'm not sure that the statue turned out all that great. That was kind of my takeaways.
So I'm
How
thrilled
does this
for
happen?
him. That's the follow. I'm thrilled for him. It was a great moment for him. You're reminded of, I said this morning, like he is one of the most popular players in the history of that program, and that's saying a lot because they have a lot of dudes. They've had a lot of dudes come through there, and you can see how popular he is. How does that statue happen, Jake?
I mean, I'm never going to have a statue built of me, but if that ever did happen and I ended up looking like the villain in Terminator 2,
that's exactly right.
Like that would be a bummer. And I mean, you're right, but like you could make the case. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy to Browns fans who, think of Baker in the context of his NFL career and not so much anymore his college career, but you could make the case that Baker Mayfield is the second greatest football player in OU history behind Leroy Selman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how significant of an impact he had on the program and the success that he had over a number of years. I mean, you got 3 Big 12 championships, 2 playoff appearances, Heisman finalist every year he was there, and then he, won the Heisman in 2017. And, Oklahoma was kind of in, I don't want to say bad shape, but they were in a rut before Baker Mayfield arrived in 2014. They just lost to Clemson like 40-6 in the Russell Athletic Bowl in Orlando, and then Baker Mayfield arrives and they're in the playoffs the next year. So he had a significant impact on Oklahoma, and I mean there were 76,000 fans there. I mean part of that was for kind of to stick it to Lincoln Riley and embrace Brent Venables, but also to because Baker Mayfield is so popular at that program.
The statue has 2 right feet. You've seen this, right?
I couldn't get past the head. It was the worst.
You haven't seen the two right feet?
It's the worst since Ronaldo.
I saw somebody post the feet on Twitter, and I did not look close enough to see why that was going on. But I guess that's why.
What do you mean?
I'm telling you, the statue has 2 right feet.
It just doesn't look like him in the face, like, at all. I mean,
not at all.
Statue, and Baker Mayfield wouldn't be one of the 50 people I would guess that's a statue of. So I don't know. I mean, there's nothing they can do about it now. It's erected on Heisman Park outside Owen Field, and it's going to stay there forever. So yeah,
I mean,
very shoddy work, I thought.
The fact that you Google Baker Mayfield statue and the first thing that comes up is Baker Mayfield statue unveiling draws Terminator 2 fans into Robert Patrick comparisons is a really stunning thing.
That's not what you're looking for.
No.
I did see some David Hasselhoff comparisons as well, which I don't think is good as Terminator 2, but he looks more like David Hasselhoff than Baker Mayfield in the statue.
I used a generic 50s football player as kind of anybody that played in the 50s, like it kind of looked like that with the big, big boy haircut and all that. Yeah.
He looks like Cole Hauser, who we now love as Rip in some of his earlier work as well.
A little bit of that going on. Jeez. Oh, boy.
The Browns should not hire OU's statue guy. That's all.
No, thank God. Thank God we didn't. Hey, Jake, this is an interesting draft because we've been through these where it's, you control the draft in recent memory, whether it was the Baker draft, the Miles draft. We've had some where you felt like, boy, we got to get left tackle, and you get Jedrick Wills, and you kind of knew that's the way that was going last year. You knew it was going to be the way it was going to be. We feel like this year we know it needs to be defensive end or receiver. But when you pick at 44, you kind of got to wait for the draft to come to you. What do you make about of this draft from the Browns' perspective, and what's just kind of the feeling you have it heading into it?
Yeah, Andrew Berry said it last week. It doesn't seem likely they're going to be able to trade into the first round. I mean, they've limited draft capital as it is after the Watson trade. So, it just doesn't seem feasible for them to package more of that to move up unless there's just, a JOK situation like last year, right? And even then, I think it would be tough. So, you're looking at the second round, probably at 44. And I think that there are a lot of intriguing, wide receiver possibilities there. It's a really good wide receiver draft, not just in the first round, but in terms of the depth as well. So to me, if I was going to predict what position they select at 44, I think it's going to be wide receiver. Could be defensive end. Mel Kiper Jr. has defensive tackle, the defensive tackle from Connecticut, which, that would fill a need to be sure. But my money would be on selecting wide receiver and really shoring up. I mean, the only question mark offensively right now.
When you look at that 44th pick, and you mentioned, the defensive line, let's just stay there. There's defensive end. We know the Browns need help there. They need help at defensive tackle. From what you know of Andrew Berry, and they have drafted a defensive tackle, an interior guy in each of the last two drafts, Jordan Elliott 2 years ago and Tommy Togiai last year. What is the percentage that you put, like if you had to pick it, handicap it, receiver, edge, or defensive tackle or field, what are kind of the percentages you put it at 44?
Yeah, I would say, without having given this any thought in terms of percentages, like 50% wide receiver. Does that sound right to you guys?
Okay. Yeah.
And then, 25, 30% pass rusher. And I actually think it's less likely they take a defensive tackle just because I kind of see them doing what they did last year, where they kind of patch it together, right?
Yep.
They went out and, found Malik McDowell. You got your veteran Malik Jackson as well. I mean, you can go get guys like that via trade or even, potentially free agency still at this point. It just kind of feels like, given how complete the rest of the defense is, I don't think that they're overly concerned with the defensive tackle. And it's, Andrew Berry said last week, they want to see what Jordan Elliott can do. They want to see what Tommy T can do. And I think they're going to give those guys some opportunities to show that they can be, rotation players, if not, starters as well. So, again, I think it's possible if there's a guy they really like at 44, they could go defensive tackle, or if they just don't feel great about the receivers. But I think at least 50% receiver, and then I would say probably 30% pass rusher and maybe, 10% defensive tackle, and then 10%, other positions.
Jake, you're the first one that has kind of laid it out the way we have.
Yeah.
Not to say
yes.
that,
you guys agree with me?
Yes. We keep having these draft people on, and they keep slotting us defensive tackles, and we're like, it doesn't pass the sniff test for how Andrew Berry's going to build a team or the importances that are needed on the roster. And when we press on it, they'll go, yeah, I guess true, but then they still, every time we see a mock, it's a defensive tackle at 44, yeah. And we're with you. It just doesn't add up for us.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, and I just kind of, all we can do is go off of what they've done in the past. And, again, I don't think that they're going to prioritize a day 2 pick at defensive tackle unless there's just a guy there they really, really like. I could see them in the 5th round taking a defensive tackle for sure.
It'd have to be an interior pass rusher, and those guys probably aren't going to be there.
Yeah. I think they definitely put, Andrew Berry jokes about this sometimes because, we took a linebacker, see guys, but they really do, I think, place a emphasis on, not positional scarcity, but the value of certain positions like corner, like quarterback, like wide receiver, like pass rusher. And so you want to use those, your top picks on those positions. And given that they have a glaring need at wide receiver, that's why I think it's ultimately going to be that position. But listen, I'm wrong all the time. So we'll see. Watch it be a defensive tackle.
We will see how that plays out. Part of this roster, though, I think you're going to really address some things in the draft. I still think there's free agency, a role to play there. And this is, it feels unique to me, the amount of very, very good talent that is going to play legitimate roles for good teams kind of really all across the board that have gone unsigned. It feels like the NFL has kind of shut down business for the last month or so. And so you have this bevy of talent of guys that are still unsigned that are likely to sign after the draft. So there's a lot to go. How do you kind of see the Browns navigating that? Are you hearing anything? We've still and answer this for me. Do you think every day that goes by that Clowney doesn't sign somewhere else makes it more likely that he comes back to Cleveland?
It does. And I think that and that's why I feel like it's more likely they use that second round pick on a receiver versus a pass rusher, because I just believe at this point they're going to re-sign Clowney. I think if he were going to sign elsewhere, that would have happened already. So I think the chances are pretty good that he's going to end up back in Cleveland. I would say that it's more likely that the Browns bring back Clowney than Jarvis Landry. You guys agree at this point?
I think Clowney, yes. I would love Jarvis Landry to come back. I do think the Browns are going to add an outside receiver and a slot receiver in some combination of draft, free agency, or either draft or free agency. I love Jarvis, so I want to come back. I do think if you're saying odds, it's more likely. I think Clowney feels pretty likely. I just don't know about Jarvis. I hope so. And I would guess that every day that goes by, Jarvis doesn't sign somewhere. Maybe that's a good thing because, man, I'd love to have him back.
Feels like door's still wide open for both.
Yes, wide open.
Come on home is, to me. I think both are very much in play.
Jarvis reportedly took that trip to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, if the Saints don't sign him, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard of Jarvis connected to any other team, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think the potential and to get Jarvis on a really team-friendly deal too, right? Which is what Cleveland wanted all along. They didn't want to necessarily part ways with Jarvis Landry. They just didn't want to bring him back at, I can't even remember what his number was going to be, like 15 million, whatever it was. So, yeah, I think those are the two guys to obviously watch. I don't think anything's changed. And, I think if they do sign a big-name free agent, it would probably be those two guys.
Is there any news or updates on Dearness Johnson? Andrew Berry said he expects him back. It feels like the deadline is passed for him to sign a deal somewhere else. So is it just the expectation now that Dearness Johnson will be back, which I think, by the way, is a wonderful thing for the Cleveland Browns? Big Dearness Johnson guy.
Yeah, he changed agents. He was looking to get he's a restricted free agent. He was looking to get an offer sheet. That, never happens in the NFL, right? I mean, how many times that happened in offseason? Like once. And so, the chances were, I think, from the beginning, very strong that he was going to be back. The question now is, they're going to sign him to, like a 2-year extension, or do they just run status quo through training camp, similar to Daryl Hodge last year, and just kind of see how the roster looks at that point? But I'd put it this way. The Browns want Dearness Johnson on the roster this fall. I think it's almost a lock now at this point that he will be.
Jake, do you think give me a percentage of chance of Baker being on this roster by the time we're done with the draft weekend?
Yeah. This seems crazy, but I think it's more likely than not that he is.
Yeah.
So Carolina's the team everybody's watching. I don't know what they're, I don't know how interested they are in Baker, given the current salary structure. And I don't know. Are they going to do like a Sam Darnold 2.0 move, which, I think Baker's better than Sam Darnold, but it's kind of a similar circumstance.
Sure.
And you're going to tie up, a good chunk of your cap in those two guys. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I think one, did they like Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, which I don't know the answer to. And then if they don't like those guys, do they feel enough pressure on, the GM, Matt Rule, their jobs that they have to make some kind of move? And that's, I just don't know enough about that at this point from this side of it. But I do think that if Carolina doesn't trade for Baker, unless the Browns are going to eat a significant amount of his salary, I think it's more likely than not he's on the roster come, this time next week, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing to remember with this is Andrew Berry I don't think he's going to get pressed into anything. Like, I think he knows he's got a valuable asset, and he'll wait until there's a need for that asset, I think. I don't think there's anything where he's going to be like, stopwatch. I got to trade him this weekend. I just don't think that's in his DNA at all.
And here's the thing to think about. If they're going to have to eat his salary at some point anyway, you might as well wait, right? I mean, there's no hurry to do it now. I don't know if I'd have the same answer to that question if it's like, mid-August. But yeah, I think right now they can afford to be patient because Baker's not going to be at minicamp. He's not going to be at OTAs. He's not going to really be, I think, much of a distraction to the team. Maybe to us, we'll talk about it, but yeah, I don't see why they would be in a hurry if they're going to have to at some point either keep him on the team through the season, which seems crazy, or eat his salary at some point to facilitate a trade or negotiate a release similar to kind of OBJ last year. So I think it's, I think this is an important weekend for a Baker trade, and if it doesn't happen this weekend, I got no idea when it's going to happen, but it might be a while.
Well, and not only that if there was a circumstance in which the Browns kept him on the roster all year, they would get a good compensatory pick when he was a free agent and signed somewhere else. So I would imagine if they are going to trade him, they need to get some level of a compensatory, a draft pick back that would at least be commensurate with that. And so are they going to be in a situation where ultimately it feels like they're coming down to buying a draft pick? I think they will, right? Because you're going to pay some level of that salary for a draft pick. It's unbelievable to me that this is actually the state. I think that the pendulum in the league, and maybe it's because of just the way the situation's unfolded, but $18 million is a pretty darn good deal for a guy who absolutely is one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
When you're talking about guys getting 50, right, and 40. So I think it's a stunning situation that the Browns are in, but there really isn't any rush unless they get a deal that they like, because worst case scenario is you don't have him helping anybody against you, and that you then get a compensatory pick following the season. I mean, do you agree with that, Jake, or no? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's crazy to think that could be the final outcome from all of this. And the salary cap is kind of fake in the NFL. It's not like a real thing, right? It just you can sign a guy to a record deal and your salary cap number goes, you got more space at the end of it based on the way you structure the contract. But it's not good to have, $19 million hit on your cap for a guy that you have no intention of keeping or playing this year. And
right.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about the compensatory pick for sure as well. But I think the other teams are looking at the Browns and say, we know you're not playing him. We know you're trying to trade him. So the Browns don't really have a lot of leverage either. It's not like a Matt Ryan situation where, well, the Falcons could keep him. So
sure.
We're going to have to give up this pick to get him because the Falcons might bring him back. Everybody knows the Browns are not bringing Baker Mayfield back at this point. So, the Browns don't have a ton of leverage from that sense of it.
Going to be an interesting week. It always is draft week. Thanks for your expertise, my friend, and sharing some of it with us today.
Yes, the best.
Yeah, I'm going to take a nice little mini vacation on Thursday. Should be good.
Oh, God, you get to go to Vegas.
No, I'm not going to Vegas. But I'm going to kick back. And
I thought maybe you get a little –
Thursday.
I thought maybe you got a little – go
Vegas
out there,
Jake.
just kind of Vegas Jake on a Thursday, low key, then you get into the coverage Friday.
Oh, man.
If I was going to Vegas, I wouldn't be covering the draft. I'd just be in Vegas.
Just going to Vegas.
There you go. All right, Jake.
Yeah.
Good
See you
stuff,
guys.
bud.
All right.
Take care. The great Jake Trotter joining us on the hotline there of ESPN, one of our great friends, Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll be part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business is shopping for an enterprise operating systems partner, but you don't know where to begin. Well, I can tell you where to begin. My friends at EOX Vantage, they're data scientists, business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team not only builds and installs your system, they act as ongoing tech support. So you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage is not tied to any single brand of hardware or software, so you're getting a truly customized, purpose-built solution along with a partner that answers only to you. And EOX Vantage is not outsourced, so all the operational expertise is yours. The proprietary solutions, tech support, they come from one unified partner. You can see how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. We have 29 minutes left in the show. We're usually out about 55, 56. It is dark as night out there.
You can't even see the cars. There's a sheet of water coming down.
I have one objective. Is there, between now and in the next 24 minutes, can I get an umbrella? Is there an umbrella in the building?
believe, in fact, there are umbrellas right.
I believe Jay down at the front desk.
I think there's umbrellas.
He can help me out.
Experienced gentleman when it comes to this.
If Jay's here, Jay is of the utmost competence. I just got to make sure he's here so he can umbrella me before I go out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, remember that one time we thought the lawns were going to dry out in time?
I literally, I emailed my landscape guys today. I said, listen, it hasn't rained in 3 days. This is as dry as it's going to get. You got to come right now. You got to come today. Did not. Fail.
Well,
because this ain't gonna go well.
No, it's all night.
I literally, as much as I wanted to enjoy the weekend, and I did enjoy the weekend. There were about 4 to 5 hours each day that I was spent in my yard doing stuff because I knew next weekend's draft. Last weekend was out of town. This was coming today, and I had no idea when I might be able to get back outside to do the things that I want to do.
All right, it really only goes through about 7 o'clock.
Okay,
here.
but
it
if
pours
you're going to get 2 inches of water here
for
in the next
4 hours.
Yeah,
that's gonna back things up a little bit. We're
Not
back
great.
to suck, kids.
Cart
Back
pass
to suck.
July.
Yeah, if we're lucky. I kind of feel like if we're lucky.
Hey, you had Saturday and Sunday. You had the weekend. I can't be.
I'm happy that those were the days.
Yep. Exactly.
So this is going to go, like, the temperature's dropping like 25 degrees.
Starting now.
Now.
It's going to be in the 30s on Wednesday. Like, how does it go from 80? I don't get it.
High of 38. How's that real? How is that real? How do you ever dry out? Like the weekend, 71%, 92% chance of rain. Monday, 66. Tuesday, 81. I was talking to my dad. Like they're in straight drought west. Drought.
Same down in Florida when I was down there last week. Like you're not allowed to even. There's not. If someone sees you with a lighter, things get nervous.
Elon Musk is buying Twitter. What he ought to do is find a way to take the water that we have and fix the weather. Take our water, capture it, and ship it. That's what we need to do. No one needs this.
No.
Nobody needs this.
Mm-mm.
Grossness. Absolutely
Yeah,
gross.
the zero turn came out yesterday. Had a little fun.
Did you spin out any, or were you dry enough to where you could manage?
Slow go.
Yeah, you just got to
just got to get it out there. The blade's up as high as it can go, and you just kind of I had to get something done. I had to get some kind of cut on the lawn. The front lawn's no problem, and there are certain parts of the back no problem that were dried out. But I got a flat part where it flattens out on the bottom, and you just walk on it, and it's sponge. And that's after 2 days of 80 degrees.
Step your foot down.
Yep.
Not so great.
Crumb. Pure crumb.
That's not right.
Is it too late to go to Vegas and act like the draft's the biggest thing in the history of the world for us?
Probably.
Is it too late?
Not for me.
Is there a can we get a plane?
We know people.
Sort that out? Well, all right. What are we doing here?
I
We
can
got
bring
higher
you a little
lower?
higher or lower on a Monday.
Try. Let's go. Bring a little joy into our lives, Gibby.
There we go. This is compliments of Mark Sessler. I love
He's a
Mark
good man,
Sessler. I don't know if Mark Sessler still likes us, but right now.
Why? Why does he not like us? Did I miss? Did I miss this?
The organization's, some of the decisions,
wasn't
on board with.
Oh, I don't read everybody all the time in the world. Sometimes I miss.
Sad.
I miss.
Sad. My sister is sending me a picture of a funnel cloud. She's in Strongsville.
Come on. Is that real? That's like National Weather Service type stuff, kids.
Yeah. She says, yikes, it's turning. Great. Perfect. So you got that to look forward to. Not so nice. No. Higher or lower, Mark Sessler ranked every quarterback class since 2000.
Okay.
In honor of the draft week. I'm sure we'll probably do a couple higher or lowers this week as we get closer, because better off talking about past drafts than current drafts, because our draft.
Well, I wonder where this year's, where it feels like this year as of right now, where it feels like this year's would slot in.
Jake Locker is what this feels like to me. Do you guys remember a Jake Locker at the University of Washington?
Yeah, sure.
Tennessee took him.
Yeah,
sure.
Was that also a Christian Ponder draft or an E.J. Manuel draft?
So E.J. Manuel was with Geno Smith, Mike Glennon. The top 3 quarterbacks taken were E.J. Manuel, Geno Smith, Mike Glennon, who's by far had the best career of anybody else. Matt Barkley, Ryan Nassib, Tyler Wilson, Landry Jones, Brad Sorensen, Zach Dysert, who had a great college career. Wasn't he at Miami of Ohio? B.J. Daniels, Sean Renfree,
and he was.
Matt McGloin was undrafted. That's not very good.
So that's probably the worst. The Locker draft's even probably better than that. Who's in the Locker draft?
How old is Locker's draft?
It's not that old. It's in the last 15 years.
What they have is the worst. They've got Jamarcus Russell, Brady Quinn, Kevin Cobb, John Beck, Drew Stanton, Trent Edwards, Tyler Thigpen, Matt Moore is the worst ever.
That's just probably because he's factoring in the amount of money that was given to Jamarcus.
Probably.
We could play higher or lower.
We could.
I'm going to get to that.
Go ahead, Gibby. Sorry to wreck your game.
I'm still looking for Jake Locker.
Oh, Nick hit it.
Higher or lower?
The number 1 quarterback class since 2000, according to Mark Sessler. 2004. Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, J.P. Lossman, Matt Schaub, Luke McCown, Craig Krenzel in round 5. Andy Hall, Josh Harris, Bowling Green, Jim Sorgi. I believe he's like a Lorain County guy. Jeff Smoker, John Navarre, Cody Pickett, Casey Bramlett, Matt Mock, B.J. Simmons, Bradley Van Pelt.
All right. So
higher, lower, or just right?
4 Pro Bowlers.
The only one that
3 potential Hall of Famers.
Now, all right. So let me give you this frame. Let me give you this frame of reference.
Yeah.
Number 2 is 2017.
Yeah.
Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson, Kaiser, Webb, Josh Dobbs, Nathan Peterman, not Peter Lynn.
So 17 has 2 guys who are the trajectory would be Mahomes 100% Hall, Deshaun on the cusp, right? I mean, he continues on the path he's on. He's going to be a Hall guy. But the other one's got 3. He's got 2 Lockoffs. I mean, don't you think? I guess just Roethlisberger's a lock, but it feels like Eli and Rivers are right on the cusp.
They've won 4 Super Bowls. Matt Schaub's the 4th, who had some really good years.
Yeah,
that's Houston and Atlanta.
That one wins. That's the sweet spot, and then 17's 2.
By the way, the notable undrafted in 2017, Taysom Hill and Nick Mullins. Taysom Hill, who has pictures of somebody in the New Orleans Saints organization.
Yeah, they love him.
Yeah.
Next.
Higher or lower?
The number 3 QB class since 2000, according to Mark Sessler. 2018, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, Mason Rudolph, Kyle Loletta, Mike White, Luke Falk, Tanner Lee. There's some pretty awful names toward the back end. Let's see who's number 4. Let's compare that. 2020.
Well, the high water mark in 18 is pretty high with Josh and Lamar.
All right. Is it higher or lower compared to 2020's class, which is number 4 on his list? Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Jacob Eason.
It's too early to tell.
It's a little too early
on both of these. Neither one of these even have a Super Bowl. I mean, the fact that go read number 5.
See number 5, 2005. Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers. That guy.
Aaron Rodgers.
Jason Campbell, Charlie Fry. Oh, boy, I remember that mistake.
In the 4th round.
Kyle Orton.
Yeah, you get Kyle Orton in the 4th.
Dan Orlovsky in round 5.
Yep.
Derek Anderson, round 6. Took the Browns to
Reed,
10
round
wins in
7.
07. Matt Castle.
And
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That class probably should be 3rd, honestly. You've got an MVP, a Super Bowl champion. You have a bunch of guys who played and made a living for a long time. And Alex Smith was really good.
Really good.
Amidst injuries, he was really good. I would probably have that higher than 3 right now, while acknowledging that 18 and 20, the ceiling could be higher on both of those. Because, I mean, right now you would say Burrow and Herbert feel like dudes for a long time. And Allen and Lamar, Allen is a dude. Lamar is a dude when healthy. But, I mean, to me, I would take the A-Rod class up to 3. And maybe even 2.
Just number 6 is pretty darn good as well.
Say, number 6, you have Andrew Luck, RG3, Ryan Tannehill, Brandon Weeden, Brock Osweiler, some guy named Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Kirk Cousins.
And Kirk Cousins.
And Cousins.
And Case Keenum was undrafted.
And Foles. And, I mean, RG3 was still Rookie of the Year. And Tannehill.
I didn't realize they had Luck and Wilson in that class. And
yeah.
Tannehill.
And Foles and Cousins.
Wilson and Foles
one's
were
gotta go up,
3rd-round
too.
picks.
Way up.
Cousins a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, because of the strength of Mahomes and Deshaun, it's limited to the 2 of them, right? There's nobody down in that draft that you look back on and go, oh, yeah, that guy's going to be a guy.
No, and right now they've won
Trubisky
a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the one Super Bowl. Mahomes is on the verge of an all-time career, but he's in the early stages of it.
It gets I think a lot of these in the middle are way better than the ones before that have already been.
Well, there's a lot of projections on. You're projecting what guys' careers will be down the road.
Sure, but I mean,
how about what you know?
Yeah, about what you know. Go ahead. I mean, look at number 7.
Number 7, you know, you have Michael Vick, you have Drew Brees,
done. I mean,
Sage Rosenfels, Chris Weinke, AJ Feely, Josh. You see, there's 2 really good ones.
Yes.
And then there's, I mean, I would still put Mahomes and Watson's class ahead of that one.
Number 13 is out. I mean, I don't know. This is tough. I think this is very tough.
You have to try to project. You're trying to project the rest of Mahomes, the rest of Deshaun, Allen and Lamar, Baker, that class, Burrow and Herbert. Yeah, of those 3,
Luck and Russell Wilson, even though Luck's done, I mean, still.
And Tannehill's been good.
Tannehill's been was just a number 1 seed in the
Keenum
AFC.
was undrafted in that.
Yeah.
He took a team deep into the playoffs.
Michael Vick's on my short list of guys that if they were drafted 10 years later would have had a very different career. And he was really good with Atlanta. Like a one-man wrecking crew.
But
they tried turning it. They want him to be a West Coast quarterback, and we're trying to make him
dumb
under center. I mean, my God, they'd put him under center. They took Michael Vick and put him under center.
Yeah.
Jim Mora Jr. and Dan Reeves.
I feel like Mora Jr. is still around.
Well, he did college for a while. He was at UCLA and Washington, I think.
Is he running them into the ground?
Yeah.
Let's see. Jim Mora Jr., where's he at?
I think when you're doing something like this, you have. That's why I think
He's the head coach of Connecticut.
Oh yeah, that's right. He just took that job. Well, that's the worst job in America, so that's why he got it. Truly, they have no conference.
You're right.
They're an independent.
Either, right?
They're an independent, and they're not exactly like the United States Military Academy or Navy or Notre Dame. Like they don't have those brands. So you're talking about. To me, I would look at this if I were doing this. If I was doing Sessler's job here, I would say that I would want. Here's what I'd look for: is there an all-timer in this class? Because several of these years have all-timers.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next thing I would look for is, how many capable NFL starters, good NFL starters, are they in the class? And then I'd want to know how many guys in this class played quarterback in the league.
Right.
Like that would be my priority. So I would land on that. I don't remember what year it was, but the A-Rod class should be much higher up, and the Luck, Tannehill, Wilson class honestly might be second behind Roethlisberger, Rivers. And
Isn't Cousins also in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cousins is a 4th rounder.
Yeah, because you got an all-timer.
The football team drafted RG3 and Cousins in that draft.
Right, that's right. They drafted them both.
Oh, my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The Rodgers class, the only thing that that Wilson, Luck, Tannehill class doesn't have is they don't have an all-timer. Luck, a lot of people think could have been an all-timer had he played through, whereas obviously the Rodgers class has an all-timer. And Mahomes may be an all-timer. Maybe Deshaun becomes an all-timer. Josh Allen could be. Herbert, Burrow, but they're so young.
That class won 2 Super Bowls. Wilson won 1. Foles won 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Foles is in that class.
Yeah,
they did
that's
have
a good.
two.
It's just
5 and 6. The ones at 5 and 6 are both really good. That's the A-Rod class and then the Luck Wilson class. Those are both really good, and they have good depth too. Really good depth. It's a lot of projecting on the young kids about what they're going to be going forward. I think the cool thing about the Burrow Herbert class is that going into that year, most of the attention was on Tua.
Yeah.
And it's
tank for Tua.
Yeah, and it ended up being those two that were they elevated.
Some of these I just don't understand at all. The rank, like
2008, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
It's an MVP and a Super Bowl
winner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it though.
Then
Chad Henne's been in the league for a long time. Josh Johnson's been in the league for a long time.
But like 2011 ranks
is
number
way
10.
better.
That's Cam Newton. Now, the other 3 QBs in round 1 are awful. Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder.
Hey, Blaine Gabbert's still paid to play football.
Yeah, he is.
Round 2 was Andy Dalton and Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
Ryan Mallett was 3rd round. Tyrod Taylor was 6th.
That's pretty good.
Supplemental
And
draft was
Terrell
Terrell Pryor.
That's pretty good.
Here's the thing, though. Like, how do you do just to go in the year 2000? Chad Pennington, round 1. Chad Pennington had some very nice seasons with the Jets.
Yeah.
Giovanni Carmazzi, that was the 49ers pick. Oy. Round 2. Chris Medard, round 2. T. Martin, round 5. Round 6, best round 6 ever. Mark Bolger and Tom Brady.
Is that okay?
But how could Tom Brady be a part of the 13th best quarterback class of all time when he himself is singularly the greatest quarterback?
Yeah. And Bolger and Pennington
and
were both fine.
Pennington was a really good.
Pennington was really
Bolger
good.
was a Pro Bowler.
And Bolger, people forget how good he was. That allowed for Warner to be out the door.
Yes.
Because they thought Bolger was better, and he actually was pretty good.
Started
Bolger
95
was the Steve
games.
Young to Joe Montana.
A little bit of that, yeah. By the way, speaking of the 49ers, did you see their new uniforms?
Wait, what? Why do they have new uniforms?
I don't know if it's going to be a third or whatever. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't, but clearly the 49er guy in the room didn't see it either. That's a big
I haven't
miss.
heard from Boots on the ground, Pedro.
They're gorgeous.
Oh.
It's subtle. They've added the 3rd stripe, and then
Classic updates to standard home
and then
and away.
they brought back the saloon script.
So it's got 3 stripes. Oh,
I knew you'd like this.
I can't believe
that
you
script
didn't
is
know
the
that.
best.
That script's where it's at, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be on the back of the helmet.
Isn't that
my
beautiful?
Goodness. And on the front of the jerseys. Yes.
That's subtle.
Fantastic.
That's beautiful.
So that's going back to the. So what were they at? 2 stripes for a while?
They must have been on a 2 stripe.
Huh.
So they're back to the 3.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
I thought maybe you'd like that.
That just happened. Did this just happen while we were on the air?
It happened right as we were right around the noon hour.
Oh, okay.
Right around the noon hour.
I was doing the BPA with the IBS boys.
With the IBS boys.
That's right. Award-winning broadcasting.
If you say so. Good job.
Historic uniforms made famous in the 80s and 90s. This is great.
I thought you'd love those.
Saloon font has been restored as the primary word mark. Yes.
Come on. Put that on a hoodie.
Oh,
right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Absolutely
Let's get
not.
it done. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Gambling without setting limits on how much you're going to wager or how long you'll play is like a football team going into a game without a game plan. It's probably going to end up in a loss, so always set limits before you bet. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com.
Draft preview show tonight, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, baby. Andrew Barry.
He's going to tell you what he's doing at 44?
I'm going to take a different tact with him because there's no point in asking him things like that.
See, this is why you're the big B that you are. By the way, I was down in the valley over the weekend, and I saw a coffee place.
Big B's.
Big B's.
That's right. You
and
sure
I'm
did.
thinking to myself, we probably need that on a hat. It's our color scheme.
It is. It's orange. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I saw it recently, too.
Yeah.
I drove right by.
Going, whoa.
Little double take.
Yeah.
For the Big
Look
B's.
at that. Big B's. Interesting.
It's all about the beans, Larry.
Hey, did you ever hear back from our guy, by the way?
Which one?
Your DM from Friday.
Oh, Severo. Save that for tomorrow. We'll save that
That's
for
got a
tomorrow.
tease, kids, in the business. That's a tease.
Yes, indeed. You had a very good weekend. The next level